Find out how this year's state budget will impact higher education. Next on Behind the Headlines.
This is Behind the Headlines, with behind-the-scenes analysis on issues affecting Pennsylvanians, sponsored by the Susquehanna Valley Center for Public Policy. Now, here's your host.
Hi, welcome to a new edition of Behind the Headlines. I'm Charlie Greenewalt, Senior Fellow for the Susquehanna Valley Center for Public Policy, and I have a very special treat today where we have Maura Donnelly, my co-host, who's back. Maura, welcome back.
Thank you, Charlie. I've missed you.
Well, we missed you too, and the shows just aren't as effervescent and as lively without
you're very
you.
kind.
No, it's like losing my right hand, so I'm so glad to see you back.
Thank you.
Why, today, we want to talk, first of all, this is the beginning of our 8th year of broadcasting.
That's great.
We have a situation now where we are on every cable system just about in the state of Pennsylvania. We are from Erie to Philadelphia, from Scranton to Pittsburgh, and
everywhere in between.
Everywhere in between. We're very fortunate that way. Each one of our shows is on 100 times a week across the Commonwealth, and we want to thank all of you, our viewers, for your patronage, and we look forward to continuing to learn more about Pennsylvania public policy and Pennsylvania throughout the upcoming year. Thank you for being with us. Now, today we want to talk about an issue that's hanging fire, not only in Pennsylvania, but in many states around the Union, and of course that is funding. Funding, of course, for education. In this case, we want to look at funding for higher education. And with us, we have a new guest, someone from APSCUF, of course, the statewide union for the faculty from the 14 state universities, and that is Ken Mash. Ken, welcome to the show. You are the new vice president for APSCUF. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, and congratulations on your election?
Oh, thank you very much, Charlie. Well, I'm a professor of political science at East Stroudsburg University. I teach constitutional law, judicial politics there, and political theory as well. I direct the honors program there at ESU, so it's very busy time. Yes,
it certainly sounds like it, to do all of those and be the vice president of APSCUF. So this is, of course, the season in which we're trying to come up with a state budget, and we find that there are lots of constraints in the budgetary process. We find that where do we stand in higher education in this forthcoming state budget, Ken?
Well, you know, it's a very tense time. The governor has proposed a $29 billion budget for the Commonwealth. Virtually everybody agrees that there's only going to be about $27.5 billion to spend, and that really puts vital programs at risk, all vital programs, and that includes higher education in the Commonwealth. The state system of higher education in the Commonwealth, it's considered discretionary spending, which makes it vulnerable to possible cuts. On top of that, we've got a number of issues, problems with the retirement system, which really are putting things at risk with the system. We have, that is, the state system has a $445 million budget. $38 million is an addition that comes from federal stimulus money. There's concern that the federal stimulus money, though we have it for this year, will go away the following year. And when that money goes away, it's going to raise some serious problems for the system. The people at the state system of higher education are actually, even for this upcoming year, projecting that there's going to be something like a $63 million deficit. Because of salary increases and increases in energy costs and a variety of other issues.
Well, what are some of the challenges that the state university system is facing right now, given this projection of not just this year, but in the coming years, some very difficult financial times?
Well, you know, the system itself has been looking at programs, and we just found out last week that something like 70 programs are either going to be put in moratorium or they're going to be discontinued. Programs put into moratorium are not allowed to are not allowed to accept new majors coming in, while theoretically they're allowed to continue on and maybe be able to continue. Once you get placed in moratorium, it's a very difficult thing to get out of, and that's what experience says. We're very concerned about the nature of higher education itself and the direction that we've gone over the last several years. As far as students go, we're in great shape. We've had record enrollments across the state system for about a dozen years. And we have 117,000 students who come to our schools. And we expect and we want those students to get the best possible education that they can get.
I guess the question becomes is, with record enrollments and tuition increases, how can the state system be in a deficit position?
Yeah. Well, there are increasing costs all around. We've had a situation where we have not received increases in the state budget for several years. At the same time, over the last 5 years, the governor has made it a point, and the state system has gone along with keeping tuition low. And as far as any university system in the country, we've had the lowest level of tuition increases. But what we're looking at, if we're going to make up that $63 million, we're looking at, it would take about an 8% tuition increase to do that.
No, we're seeing that not as much clamor this year around the budget as there was last year when it was 100+ days late.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be a little bit concerning, that it's a little quieter than usual. But what do you see? I mean, what role are you playing, and what do you see happening in the next month or so with this budget?
Well, we're all sort of holding our breath to see what's going on, and it's probably in part due to the upcoming elections that everybody's a little bit more focused on getting the budget done, if not on time, at least a lot closer to on time than they had in the past. But there's some major money. Like I said, $1.5 billion is a lot of money, and it's not entirely clear where that money is going to come from. There was a bill that the House had put forward that would have called for $300 million in increased tax revenues, but that bill never even made it to the floor of the House. So it doesn't look like taxes is the way that the legislature wants to go, so there's going to have to be some cuts in programs.
Mm-hmm. What do you see as the future of higher education? Where are we trending? There's talk that Maura and I hear of more and more distance education. Are teachers going to professors become obsolete in the future, or is there just going to be one professor for large numbers of universities per subject? Where are we going, Ken, in terms of higher education?
We're concerned. APSCUF is concerned. We're concerned about the nature of higher education. Like I said before, we're concerned about the product that we deliver, that is education, to our students. So we're worried that, as we hear more and more that there's a trend towards business kinds of models, which focus more and more on the bottom line, more and more treating students as if they're just consumers buying an automobile and they need to get what they want, that we're losing something in terms of higher education. And that is that those programs which are the easiest to target, things like philosophy, foreign languages, things that are at the very core of a liberal arts education, are those things that are being threatened. And I'm concerned because our universities are in a very special position in the Commonwealth. We serve very much so the working class of the Commonwealth. And those people who are making these decisions about which programs to cut, if you look at their backgrounds, they've gone to some of the finer universities in the country, and I certainly don't hold any grudge against that. I went to Penn State, and I'm proud to have gone to Penn State. And but at the same time, I think that if you're going to get a full college education, that means the full experience. That means opportunities to be able to explore in classes in philosophy and political science and the languages and humanities, so that we can have students who are not just people who are prepared to do very practical things, but people who are prepared to take on the world as citizens and to do very well in the workforce.